Hey guys, I think what I'm going to start doing is at the end of every week is do like a weekly recap of the day in the life. As a lot of you know, I've been posting these 1-minute shorts at the end of about every day, kind of showing what we worked on that day. Some people like the shorts format, other people hate it. So I think it's kind of a compromise here, and to be able to go into a little bit more detail. I think on Fridays I'm going to start posting a regular, long format video kind of showing what I did Friday, plus maybe going over in a little bit more detail some of the things that we did earlier in the week. That way, for people who just hate the short format, which I think it's fine personally, but just to kind of keep things a little bit of variety here, I think I'm going to try and do every Friday a more detailed recap of the week in the shop here. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you really hate the short format videos and mine come up, just feel free to keep scrolling. Nobody's forcing you to watch them. But I will try and do some more longer format stuff, including a weekly recap. So let me go ahead and start with what I did today then. So again, I've been working a lot on this 57 here that came in. This car, as I mentioned on its video when the car came in. Car came in kind of like, 80 some odd percent done. The owner just wanted us to get the car across the finish line. So it's really just a lot of little things on it here. The bumpers came in kind of just loosely mounted up. The overrider supports weren't on. For those of you that have done those before, they can be a little bit of a pain, but I got them on. Both the rear bumper and the front bumpers are all mounted up now, looking good with the overrider supports and everything. Worked on the wiring a little bit on this one. Started adjusting the front hood latch mechanism. It needs a little bit more tweaking before I'm real happy with it. Likewise on this one, got the steering is all basically hooked up here, so I'll probably go ahead and install the gas tank on this one pretty soon, and then there's some more wiring left to do here. I still need to hook up the turn signals. As you can see, the speedometer of this car is actually out right now, and the reason for that, if anyone's interested, is that I'm not sure who did this speedometer, but it actually has a paint fingerprint which is on the inside of the lens, which is a shame. So we got to pull this one apart and clean that paint fingerprint or smudge, whatever that is, off. And then I think while we're at it, we're probably going to put a little nicer needle on it. This one's a bit yellowed. So this is a really nice car, so we're going to take care of those little details that are kind of crummy looking on it. So other than that, on this one, the brakes were all assembled, but just for safety purposes, I went ahead and I pulled all 4 drums on this car to inspect the work, and the brakes were actually assembled well. They looked fine, so I went ahead and closed them back up and adjusted them. On the front passenger side here, the drum was actually stuck on the axle, and what it was that the inner bearing here on the drum was essentially just stuck on the shaft. So I had to use a variety of pullers to get it apart, or to get the drum and the bearing off, and in the process it destroyed the inner grease seal. No big deal, put a new grease seal on it, and then I took some emery cloth and kind of cleaned up the axle a little bit so that the bearing would slide on and off with the proper fit. So just little things like that. You never kind of know what you're getting into with these cars. There's always something that you think is going to be a 5-minute job turns into an hour job and requires special tools and so on, pullers and other things that the average mechanic may not have laying around their shop. Luckily, we've got pretty good selection of that kind of stuff around here. So yeah, I pulled the back ones off too. The owner or whoever assembled the brakes did a good job, so I went ahead and kind of inspected them, adjusted them, put them back together, added the cotter pins, which he didn't have on there previously. So that's about it for this car here. Really just kind of keeping it moving. The motor is out being built right now, so we'll get it back hopefully in a few weeks and then start detailing it out. He actually wants the motor to look really nice like it does on this car. So this is kind of what the motor on this car is going to look like when it's done. I think I mentioned that on its video. So moving on to this car, Didn't really do a heck of a lot on it this week. One major thing was, as I mentioned previously, was to mount this Blaupunkt shortwave radio. Here you can see under the dash, really kind of finishes off the dash and adds, kind of a custom look to it. Looks like it really fits right in though, and honestly it looks like it might even be factory. It fits in so well, and it's kind of a nice complement to the Kenzel ashtray clock here, which is a very rare accessory for those of you that are familiar with those. Other than that, we didn't really do a whole lot on this car, just waiting to get the rear bumper, which should be back next week, and add some tailpipes and a few other odds and ends, and this baby should be about done. So the 61 Ghia this week, trying to get this thing back together. I think I mentioned that I was starting to bleed the brakes, and I had a brake wheel cylinder fail, even though they looked like they were new, but I think they might have aged a little bit, as I don't know how long the car had been sitting. But anyway, so I replaced both front brake cylinders, all new shoes too, because the ones on this side, which was the side that started leaking, the pads got all, or the shoes got all soaked. So you know what, at that point it's like just replace them. So yeah, I got this one back together, got the front brakes adjusted. We still need to bleed them. We'll probably do that on Monday when Rafa's back. He seems like he's feeling better, so he should be back Monday. I think that was about it. The tank, we went ahead and painted it after we had the inside cleaned out and coated. Apparently it was a pretty big disaster inside, so took a lot to get it cleaned and coated, and then we went and took it down to bare metal, and then we painted and clear coated it, the appropriate color for this car. So yeah, looking really nice here. Pretty happy with how that's coming out. Still need to finish it up here as far as bolting it in and connecting it underneath, but for now it's just kind of sitting there. This car, didn't really do a whole lot on this one this week. Got the tank in it. It's all hooked up beneath, all mounted, bolted down. Trying to think what else I even did on this one this week. I think that was probably about it for this one for this week. You can go through and watch my other videos and prove me wrong if there was something else we did on this week, on this one this week, but I don't feel like we did a whole lot else. I think all the windows and stuff were things that we did last week. So yeah, it's moving along too here. And so, yeah, I think the next step with this car is to start getting some carpet in it and some door panels and so on. The customer has been talking to Octavio, our neighbor's shop, about his upholstery. He's got some really cool ideas he wants. He's got aftermarket kind of Recaro looking seats that he's going to upholster. I think it's going to look really good. So I think that's about it for this week. The only other major thing is some parts coming in. As you can see, these two pans sitting here. Really huge piece for the 64 one family Ghia, which is this one I'm showing here. And then for the 69 EV Bug shown here. You can see it's an IRS car. You can see the mounts back there. Yeah, so those two coming in is actually huge progress on those two cars. So these were all done by Washburn. They're all renewed, new pan halves, powder coated, etc. So these cars are going to start going together really nice once we get the other pieces for them. For the EV Bug, the 69, the front suspension for it is kind of all sitting over here in boxes, pretty much ready to go on. The back trailing arms are there wrapped up in that bubble wrap, sandblasted, or actually they've been powder coated now. So yeah, once we actually get to these two cars, they're going to start coming together pretty fast. So I think that's about it for this week. Those are kind of the major things we worked on. Of course, there's always a lot of other little things that aren't worth mentioning that end up sucking up a lot of time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoyed this. And again, for those of you that don't really like the short format day in the life videos, I'll probably try and do one of these longer ones on Friday to go into a little bit more detail, kind of recap what we worked on in this other format. So hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Keep updated. We try and keep content coming pretty regularly, tech tips, the day in the life shorts, the weekly week in the life longer format videos, and then as new projects come in, we try and do a really detailed walk around on those cars, a little bit about their history usually, and what the plans are for the cars. So thanks for watching. Bye.